Howdy. On Saturday, I celebrated the 16th year of being in business on my own. I applied for my business license in 2001. I got my incorporation papers in 2006. So I've been pretty much a self-entity. Now, that is not easy to do. Most small businesses, matter of fact, 95% or more of a small business fails within the first 3 years, let alone 5 years. So I've been able to make it 16 years. And I'm not going to lie, it hasn't always been easy. It's not necessarily easy now. The reason it's not necessarily so easy is because what I do to make the most money is hard to get, but it pays really well. And I get paid really good. It's increased over the years, and now I'm able to ask for a pretty high salary when I'm looking to do certain things. And I'm going to tell you why I'm into that and how it kind of benefits me. What I do is I am a healthcare finance consultant. What that basically means is I help hospitals make more money. I do it one of two ways, sometimes both ways. One is I help them increase their revenue drastically. If they're not really in good shape, they will be by the time I'm done. I also help them increase their cash because as you increase revenue, you increase cash. But on the billing end, sometimes there's things that are going on that people don't know, haven't been taught, haven't been shown. And for the most part, I'm able to go in and help hospitals get their act in order so that they perform better and they bring in more money. I've done this for a lot of years. I did that when I was a regular employee, and I do it as a independent consultant. Now, the problem I have is an interesting one in the fact that most of the times when I advertise to the people who are the ones who would actually hire me to go into a hospital, they have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. Hospitals are a strange beast in the fact that it's one of those industries where everyone is totally familiar with exactly what they do, but they're not necessarily familiar with things that go outside. For instance, if you have the radiology department, almost everyone has had an x-ray. Well, that's all those people do. They don't know anything about lab, they don't know anything about surgery, they don't know anything about prenatal care, and they don't know any of that stuff because they went and learned how to do radiology. That happens with almost everything. So you get someone like me who came in and I learned from a whole bunch of different places, and so I learned how to do a lot of things because a lot of times I was at smaller hospitals, and when I was really at a big hospital, I was lucky that the vice president of finance at that hospital saw something in me and allowed me to experiment and do a whole lot of other things. So I got to do a lot. Anyway, the people I have to advertise to most of the time don't understand how important what I do is because there's no school they go to that teaches them that. And so it gets hard for me to, really get to explain to these folks. Now, what ends up happening a lot of times is that a hospital's in a little bit of financial trouble. They reach out to some people who reach out to some people, and that's where they get me. Now, if all I did was just walk in and did all the work and fix them as best as I could, I wouldn't necessarily get paid the way I do because there's this thing about having certain talent where you can go in and do something and other people don't understand it, but they're not necessarily sure how to pay you. And the way that you get more money, no matter what it is you do, and this is a good lesson for everybody, the way you get more money is you give them more than what they think they're going to get. For instance, I don't just go in and do all the work. I work with all departments and I show them how to do what I'm doing for them. I explain the things to them. I show them the manuals. I work with them if I have enough time. And I want to leave a place sustainable. And I've done that. Now, do I get everybody online? No. There are some people who really don't ever want to learn it. I can understand that, but it's faulty thinking. Anything you can do to make yourself look good is always a good thing. And yes, you can be technically great at everything, but if part of your job is also managing your revenue or your income, and you decide that's not as important as everything else, you might as well go something somewhere else, because at some point someone's going to look at your department, think it's failing, and basically want to shut you down. You don't believe me? That happens all the time. There are hospitals that cut services all the time because it wasn't generating enough revenue. And the people working in those departments did not know how to help it generate that kind of revenue. So it's always my intention to educate as well as do the work and help other people do the work. I want people to be sustainable so that when I leave, they may not know everything I know, but now they have a process in place for how to get better and how to keep things going. Does it always work? No. Why not? Because leadership still has to buy into it. And if leadership hasn't bought into it, there's nothing you can really do about the whole. But years ago, I worked at this hospital in downstate New York, and I wasn't able to crack everybody. But I left a few of those departments doing really well. And those people wrote me recommendation letters saying all the help I gave them and what I taught them and how to run, because they cared about both the technical and the financial aspects of their department. So, like I said, when I get people who really want to hire me for that, I get paid really well, which is a good thing, because when you get paid really well, now you get to have these gaps in time where you're not really bringing in a lot of income. Because I make money other ways. I do some writing. I help people set up budgets. I do some SEO. I really do. I used to build websites. Decided I wasn't doing that anymore. Obviously, way back in the day, I used to sing at weddings. Not doing that anymore. But I can do certain other things. But the big money comes working in healthcare. And I put that out to you because there are some of you folks out there who have great talents, and you can go in and do projects. But I want you to get something in your mind that it's not always just about doing projects. You want to make more money? You've got to figure out a way to get people to buy into the system so that maybe they won't need you anymore. Now, that's contrary to what a lot of consultants will tell you. Matter of fact, I worked for a consulting company on just a quick interim basis back in 2003, and they got mad at me because I didn't find a way to keep them in the hospital they were working at for another year. That's not my job. At least I don't see it that way. Maybe it is for a big consulting company that is being traded on the stock market, which they were. But for an independent, I need people to be able to say, wow, this guy really gave us value, so that they will write me recommendation letters, and I can use those to help promote myself to other people. So make yourself valuable. Make other people feel valuable, and you'll make more money. And there you go. That's today's lesson. I hope y'all enjoy yourselves for the rest of this week. I'm out of here. You take care.